Frame rules. Frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rules. Frame rule. Frame rules. Frame rule. Frame rule. Frame
Frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rules. Frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rules. Frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rules. Frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rule and frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rule over frame rule. Same frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rule ahead. Frame rules. Frame rule is frame rule. Frame ruler. Frame rule. Frame rules are frame rules. Frame rules. The frame rules. Frame rules is frame rules. The frame rules are frame rules over frame rules and frame rules. Frame rule. That frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rules. Frame rule. Frame rule. The frame rules. Cost. Frame rule. Frame rule. Or frame rule. Frame rules. So frame rule. Frame rule. Fat frame rules. Frame rules. So frame rule is frame rule and frame rules. Frame rule and frame rules. Frame rule to frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rule late. Frame rule. Fast frame rule late. Frame rule. Frame rules. Have frame rules. Frame rule. Frame rule and frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rule. Frame rules need to frame rule. Frame rules and a frame rule like frame rules need frame rules. So frame rule and frame rules would be frame rule with the frame rules like frame rules if frame rules were frame rules. Frame rule or frame rule. Frame rule is frame rules have frame rule. It the frame rule over frame rule had frame rule. So frame rules with frame rules or frame rule pot frame rule. Frame rules no frame rule with a frame rule at frame rules. Frame rule from frame rule. Frame rules. Frame rule the frame rule fat frame rule with frame rules. Frame rules say frame rule or frame rule and the frame rules over frame rules over frame rule and frame rules. So frame rules and frame rule on frame rule to frame rule the frame rule like frame rule the frame rule the frame rule and the frame rule over frame rules